Do you have a gate and you need a way to lock it? Which lock you choose depends on a variety of things. What type of gate you have, what you're trying to achieve, what your budget is. We're going to discuss all that in this video. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith and you're watching Locksmith Recommended. Your options to lock a gate are padlocks, self-latching levers, self-latching deadbolts, and keyless locks. We're going to touch base on all those. The most common gate lock is a padlock, but it's also one of the least secure. Padlocks, if not bought carefully, can easily be cut or pried off, as can the chain or hasp that's holding them on. And let's face it, having that extra key that you gotta hunt down when you need it can also be very frustrating. So if you must use a padlock, be sure to get one that you can key up to your house key so you won't have to keep track of a separate key. Now our favorite padlocks and chains are by Abus. There's some great heavy duty ones on Amazon. I'll put a link to those below so that you can find those very quickly. So what are some of the considerations that you have to think about when you're looking at locking an outdoor gate? Well, first, the gate's outside. Whatever lock you put on it needs to be weather resistant on all sides. Second thing you need to think about is the configuration of the gate, especially if that gate is old. All solutions that we're going to talk about secure the swing side of the gate to a fixed post. And that gap between those two objects, the swing side of the gate and the fixed post, often needs to be less than 1.5 inches, many times less than 1 inch. Now if you're eventually going to weld in a gate box, a locksmith can help you close that distance by welding in the gate box in such a way as to shrink that gap. The next thing you need to think about, and I just touched on this, is whether or not a gate box will be needed. A gate box is a specially milled piece of metal that's used to secure the lock that you are installing. Some gate boxes also contain a little extra piece of metal, and that piece acts as a stop, so the gate will stop in its proper position when it is swinging closed. You will need a gate box if you plan on using a standard piece of door hardware like a deadbolt or a doorknob, or a commercial grade keyless gate lock. You will not need a gate box if you're using a keyed latch, a hasp, or a good durable chain with a padlock. Most local locksmiths carry the welder needed to weld the steel and can help you get that gate box installed if you need it. And lastly, you need to think about whether or not you need to install a gate closer. You will most likely want the gate to close automatically so that it latches and locks. There are many types of gate closers. The most common is a can slam. It closes the gate smoothly without slamming the gate shut, and I'll put a link to that down below. But springs are also very commonly used on residential gates in order to close them. After you've considered all of those things, you're ready to upgrade your gate to a more secure locking mechanism. Here are your options. The first option is to use common house locks, such as a deadbolt or a locking lever. When deadbolts are used, they are often modified with a gate latch so that they lock automatically when the gate's closed. Now this will require that a gate box be welded into the gate if one's not already present. Your local locksmith can handle this for you. Installing typical door hardware on a gate is one of the more affordable ways to keep a gate locked. Even though the gate is modified with a gate box, the hardware is affordable and can be put on at the same key as the house key, so you don't have to track another key. One of the things we run across often is when a customer tries to put an electronic deadbolt on a gate lock, and they're trying to use a residential grade electronic deadbolt. Don't do it. This is a big no-no. House deadbolts are only meant to be weatherproof on the exterior, not the interior. So you can put an electronic lock on a gate, but you're going to have to upgrade to a commercial grade electronic lock. Now, chain link fences can be one of the most difficult to add aftermarket locks to. A standard steel welder cannot weld the galvanized metal, so your local locksmith's not going to have the tools necessary to help you here in most cases. So that practically eliminates the possibility to install a gate box and thus eliminates a number of options you might have otherwise had. For this reason, if the gate was not fabricated with another lock in mind, most people just use a padlock to secure the locking hinge in place with a chain or hasp specifically designed for chain link gates. If this is the only method available to you, use a secure padlock and chain. Again, we like the Abus chain and the Rock padlock, and we'll have a link to those below in the description. Now, a company called Lockey has come out with an excellent product to secure chain link fences. But there are a few considerations. The gap between the rail post must be tight. That gap must be less than 1/2 inch before installation. Otherwise, the latch will not catch and lock the gate. Additionally, the fence rail needs to be between 1 5/8 and 1 7/8 inch to secure the box. No welding is required to install this gate box, which makes it one of the best solutions for a chain link fence if you want a keyless entry system. Now there's a lock that pops into this box as well. It's not all one unit, but I'll link to both those products down below so that you can take a look at them on Amazon. Now if you want a keyed entry but you don't have to worry about welding in a gate box, this is an excellent option for you. The brand that we're recommending here actually has a quick set keyway, so if your house is also on a quick set keyway, you can key this lock to your house key. Just when you buy this product, take it into a locksmith shop and have them pin it up to your house key for you. I'll put a link to this product down below as well, but if you're looking for an affordable way to get keyed access to your side gate, this is ideal. Now everything we've talked about here so far uses a key to get into the gate. What are your keyless options? We love keyless locks for gates because they have two main advantages: convenience and flexibility. For convenience, there's no keys to keep track of, so you'll never be searching for that key. For flexibility, the codes can be changed at will, so if you've changed long crews or something like that, you can simply change the code of the gate and they won't be able to get back in. But cost can often be an issue. In nearly all cases, gate modification is going to be required, and the cost of the keyless locks are going to be more expensive. Keyless mechanical gate locks are less expensive than their electronic counterparts. However, it can be difficult to change the code because the lock does have to be taken apart and there's a series of wafer pins inside that need to be rearranged. If it's too much, your local locksmith will be able to help you out with this. Mechanical gate locks only allow one code, but for most people this is sufficient. Our favorite mechanical locks are again from Lockey. They offer a lifetime mechanical warranty and can be found online. We've put a link to that below for you. They're great value and a great gate lock. Now Lockey has come out with a new product that does not require the welding in of a gate box, and we really like it. Though the price is much more expensive than just a mechanical lock, you can install these yourself and save the cost of welding in a gate box. We carry these online on our website. I'll link to that product below, but this is an ideal option if you want to do it yourself and not have any gate modifications. Electronic keyless gate locks offer all the advantages of the mechanical keyless gate locks, with the additional advantage of supporting more than one code. So this is good if you've got a community gate where you're going to be tracking access of several people. But they are the most expensive locks available, as you're going to be installing a commercial grade lock in order to get the weatherproofing on both sides that you need. Check out our article discussing our favorite standalone electronic locks. I'll put a link to that article down below, and you can read through that and decide which of those locks is right for you. The last thing you're going to want to make sure you take care of if you're putting on a lock on a gate is to make sure that the gate can't simply be reached through or over in order to unlatch the gate from the other side. If it can, the gate's going to need to be modified to prevent these actions. Here you can see on this gate we actually welded in an additional screen so that it could not be reached through. Now most residential gates are solid and won't need this modification, but commercial gates like on HOAs and pools, they often do need that. On those commercial applications, a keyless lock that takes a code on both sides to enter and exit can also be used, so long as it doesn't violate the city's fire code. Alright, and now the big question. What does it cost to install a gate lock if you're going to do modifications to the gate and go beyond just the simple addition of a padlock and chain? So obviously the keyed latches and padlocks that we talked about are going to be your least expensive solutions. You can check the links below to get exact pricing on those, but these are do-it-yourself solutions and they're going to cost you well under $100. Now once you start looking at the keyed locks like house locks, deadbolts and levers and such, you've got to modify that gate, you've got to weld in a gate box, and those solutions are going to run somewhere in the neighborhood of $400 to $600 depending on where you live and what kind of hardware you have installed. Again, this is a full service solution, so this is getting a locksmith out on site, the gate box, the welding, the installation, and everything. And now when you're talking about the keyless solutions, the price really depends on the lock that you're going to use. Are you going to use a keyless solution that only takes a code to get in, or are you going to use a double-sided solution where you got to have a code to enter the gate and a code to exit the gate? So that's a big price difference in the cost of that lock. So here, fully installed, you're going to be looking at about $650 to $900, depending on what you choose to put in it. If you found this information useful, please click the like button below. You can also turn on notifications and subscribe to our channel so that you'll get notified every time a new video comes out. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith. Thank you for watching Locksmith Recommended.